All we're doing is talking about the union, and we got this little money and began wondering what we could get if we actually tried to form a union. And so here we are today. Absolutely.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
The UAW has continued to make waves in Alabama and across the country, and the BCA is not happy about it. The Council of Bosses in Alabama.
The Business Council of Alabama,
Yeah.
just is what the BCA stands for.
Yeah. BCA, Business Council of Alabama, Council of Bosses in Alabama, they are not happy with the progress that Alabama's auto workers are making towards unionization. And so they have announced an all-out war on Alabama's auto workers. So I don't know what we should get. Should we talk about the Hyundai campaign in the main show, or the BCA article? Should we respond to that? What do you think?
Well, maybe we should talk about the campaign first, and then we
Okay.
can get into the response, even if that's, on overtime if need be.
Okay. Yeah, so the news, the latest news from Hyundai in Alabama, or from the UAW in Alabama, is that workers at Hyundai hit 30% cards signed. So 30% of the workers in the 5,000 person factory in Montgomery have now signed cards saying that they want to be a part of the United Auto Workers. So that's a big milestone. They held a forum a week and a half ago, something like that. And so they're moving along very quickly with this campaign. And they actually announced it immediately after the Business Council of Alabama announced their campaign. So that was a really good, that the timing worked really well for the auto workers there, being able to announce this victory immediately after the declaration of war by Alabama's business class. And they announced that they had hit 30% with a great video. The UAW's communications team has been putting out great videos for the last 9-10 months now, and I think this one is probably the best one of the announcement videos at these various plants where they've hit 30%. And so we're going to go ahead and play this for you in full because it's really, really good. Let's go ahead and play that for him, Adam.
Welcome to Montgomery, Alabama, the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement, where Dr. King first preached.
Montgomery, Alabama, the city where Rosa Parks sat down, and the city where thousands of Hyundai workers
are ready to stand up.
20 years ago, Hyundai opened their first U.S. plant here in Montgomery.
A foreign company got $250 million in American taxpayer money.
And we got promised good, safe jobs. 20 years later, we're still waiting.
Hyundai's profits are through the roof.
While we're some of the lowest paid auto workers in the country, we make the cars.
But we can't afford to buy them.
We put in a sweat, but we don't see the profits.
Hyundai makes billions,
while Alabama auto workers fall behind.
They've always tried to divide us.
But we're standing together.
They told us to wait our turn, but we're done waiting.
We're done waiting.
We're done waiting.
For years now I have heard the word wait. This wait has almost always meant never.
Hyundai workers can't wait.
Our families can't wait.
Montgomery can't wait.
We're ready to stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up for righteousness. Stand up for justice. Stand up for truth. And lo, I will be with you, even unto the end of the world.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
So there you go, folks. A very powerful message, and directly combating some of the things that the business class and the political leaders in Alabama are saying. Particularly, one of the common talking points is that Alabama's auto workers are highly paid. And so they said that they're some of the lowest paid auto workers in the country. And in the press release announcing this, that they sent to me as well, some of them talked about their pay. One of the people involved in the campaign, Ronald Terry, said, "I was a temp at Hyundai from 2014 to 2017. I made $11.03 an hour the entire time." That's 3 years working in an auto manufacturing facility that has OSHA fines against it of $50,000 for amputation and crush hazards, at the same facility where they found child labor, at the same facility where prison labor is being used. Now, free labor is being paid $11 an hour, and Governor Ivey is telling us that is highly paid. Highly paid. And Ronald Terry continued, "They kept saying, just wait a little longer. You'll make it to full time. I finally did, but the pay is still mediocre. With the union, we can bring our pay and benefits up to a higher standard. That's how you motivate your workers. It's not just good for us, it's good for the product we produce." And that's obviously true. Another Hyundai worker who does body shop control, Dwayne Naylor, said, "My oldest son works at the plant over on General Assembly. I went through 14 years in General Assembly, and I know what it'll do to your body over there. I don't want the younger generation to go through what we did. Over the last 10 years, most of my raises have been just 12 or 13 cents an hour. The price of their cars, they go up every year, but my pay don't. If we don't get the union here, our pay will never keep up." They also talk about how the retirement is not good. "I'm getting close to retirement, and the company has literally broken me down. We need compensation for that when we retire, not just a cake and a car discount for a car we can't afford to buy because we don't have any income. We need a real retirement. We need to win our union." They also talked about the injuries in the shop. And that's another thing that these people, Governor Ivey and the business class in Alabama, are telling us. They're saying that these auto workers are not only highly paid, but these are high quality jobs. And so when you talk about a high quality job, you assume that that means the working conditions are good. Well, Kishelle Liggins, a quality inspector at Hyundai, said, Peggy Howard, who works on F1 Final in General Assembly. She said, "When you're injured, management pushes you back on the line too soon. I had a surgery on my rotator cuff in September, and I had to go back to work the last of December. I didn't get the 2 weeks ramp up, and now I'm having pains all over again. I had cortisone injection 3 weeks ago, and I'm about to go back for another injection. If that doesn't work, the doctor told me he'll have to do the surgery over again." This is because she wasn't able to take the proper amount of rest. We need to make our job safer. We need the union. And then talking about not only the safety, now talking about the time that this company is taking from these people. Kishelle Liggins, a quality inspector, said, "Here's when I knew I needed the union. My youngest son had a basketball game, and I scheduled a half day of vacation time. Someone was supposed to come to the line to relieve me, but no one came. Finally, I clocked out, and I missed the first quarter of his game. They still wanted to write me up for job abandonment. I had to go in front of team relations, and I explained what happened, that I was legit in having this personal day, and my group leader stopped me and said, 'This job is more important than your family.'"
Wow.
At that moment, I just froze. That was sickening. I knew things at Hyundai had gone too far. Luis Leon at Labor Notes has an article about this campaign as well. Luis Leon has been really writing kind of the definitive articles about the campaign as it progresses. So I recommend, obviously, subscribe to Labor Notes if you haven't. If you want to learn about the labor movement, you want to learn about the latest news in the labor movement, and you want to learn how to be a better union member, subscribe to Labor Notes.
Absolutely.
Obviously. And read Luis Leon. Hyundai workers roll the union on in Alabama is the article title. And they talked about how, I just told you, 12, 13 cent raises every year. Not a whole lot. Temps making $11 an hour. Once the UAW stand-up strike began, grabbing headlines last fall, she and her co-workers, this is talking about a worker, started talking in earnest about a union at Hyundai, especially after the union notched a historic victory at the Big Three. Then the company actually threw money at us, Liggins said. Hyundai promised to raise wages by 25% over 4 years. So then Liggins said, so all we're doing is talking about the union, and we got this little money and began wondering what we could get if we actually tried to form a union. Right. And so here we are today. Absolutely. Absolutely. You get a 25% raise because you're talking about a union. Imagine what you can get if you actually get a union. I mean, seriously, think about it. So Luis kind of reiterates or talks about how the biggest issues are retirement security, favoritism, high rates of injury, and punishing schedules. And I want to give you the schedule. Workers complain that Hyundai's 6-day work weeks and last-minute schedule changes break up their weekends, leaving them overworked and demoralized. Managers routinely flip their schedules with little notice between days and nights or over holiday breaks. Gilbert Brooks usually takes vacation days ahead of Martin Luther King Day, which is a company-paid holiday. On Tuesday, he reported back to work at his scheduled time, but because of the holiday, he didn't check the app and see that managers had called an early start. He didn't need to check if a worker's on vacation. The early startup notification isn't supposed to apply. Hyundai's manager still dinged him for being late, moving him to phase 2 of the disciplinary process. Wild stuff. At Hyundai, workers are required to maintain 99% attendance. If a worker dips below that percentage because they're late or absent, they're giving a verbal warning, talks about the progression. Hyundai has no sick days, with only 3 personal days. Regardless of years at the company, workers are bound to end up in a disciplinary process. Could you imagine that? Working for one of the most profitable companies in the world, and you only have 3 days off a year.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely ridiculous. But Governor Ivey has the gall to go around and tell these people, obviously these people know that it's not a high-paying, high-quality job. She thinks they're stupid, but they're not that stupid, obviously. But she wants you and me to believe that. Because you and me don't have to work these schedules. We're not in those facilities. And so we don't know. And so maybe she's hoping that she can pull the wool over our eyes and hoping that we don't actually talk to these people and we don't actually read the reporting. And she wants you to believe these people are stuck up and asking for too much and they're greedy workers and they don't deserve any more than they're getting. So, again, really great reporting from Luis. Always appreciate his work. And, victory to the UAW and down with the BCA and the political class behind them. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.